Yeah. All right, everyone, it is 10 p.m. on July 15th. One place for the scheduled city commission meeting. Relatively full board, so we have a forum. So we'll call the meeting to order. Let's start with our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, we have the minutes for the commission meeting dated July 1st, 2024, and July 1st, 2024, which was the reorg meeting. I trust you all had a chance to look over them. If there are no modifications, we'll need to approve the minutes as written.
On the special minutes for the reorganization. I did leave out part and caught it later on that for Steve and I adding Steve and I to the water and sewer portfolio and the R&D board. So I forgot to include the R&D board as well. So that would
Where are you proposing that go on the minutes themselves under what item, Veronica? Are you talking?
That motion was made by the Keyword's motion does. Yeah, I'm just going to vote on that.
It would be under item 4 of the new business, under the motion. Sandberg still made a motion to appoint Commissioner Stephen Vine to the water sewer portfolio and the R&D board. It was seconded by Commissioner. Okay.
So, modification.
Yes.
I can make a motion to approve the minutes with the modification of adding Stephen Dyke to the R&T water board.
All right, with the motion in the second to approve the minutes. Modification. Is there any discussion? No, we'll move to vote. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, commissioners reports. I don't have.
I just have the one item, but is under new business, so we'll take care of it then.
I don't have any new business at this time. Okay, next is modification and or approval of agenda.
Go ahead, I'm waiting for you to finish that one.
Okay, I know we do have a late submission. I'll start to talk about the TCC. To add in, we would need a motion to approve the additions and the modification.
I would also like to be added to the agenda, please.
Yeah, I make the motion. I'll second that.
As to both gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got motion on the second to approve a couple agendas, Mr. Litton and Bob Starple. Are there any questions about the modification?
Where will you place them?
Yeah, preference?
It really doesn't matter to me wherever you feel, sir.
You're gonna be, okay, we'll put you new business number 9.
Thank you.
Mr. Starple will go new business number 4.
So I think that actually makes Mr. Linton number 10, if we're bouncing the agenda. That's okay, I will, fix it later, but just for clarity.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add those two items to the agenda. If there are no other questions, we'll move to vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Hey, old business, people report.
All right, well, I do have some new, new old business, to discuss briefly. I should note that we will have further discussion on this point later, but in the interest of updating the public promptly, and I see that Mr. Harms is in attendance. We did receive today notification from the Office of the Attorney General, regarding Mr. Harms' complaint. I think that was nearly 2 years old regarding an alleged violation of open meetings laws. I haven't really had an opportunity to thoroughly digest it. There was a finding that the executive session was improper, at least in part, and I've spoken briefly with our auditor to make those corrections. We have a certain amount of time to make those corrections. In summary, and without the particulars, which we can discuss more later at a subsequent meeting, I think that would be appropriate, so there's a complete understanding of what transpired there. Basically, we have to reissue an amended agenda that included the executive session. And we have to staple the executive session notes to the principal notes and mark them open. The good news for that purpose is we always maintain notes and recordings of our executive sessions. That's how those things are reviewed. So the correction is swift and it will come timely. So that's the update there. And I guess it's worth noting since we're a couple of weeks out from our next meeting. I don't think I have too many other developments to address this evening, but that was the most substantial and exciting that I have. I do think there is some likelihood that I may need to participate in various aspects later in the meeting. We'll see. I see it's a large crowd. That always perks my ears up because I don't always know what's going to happen. So I'll be prepared to wait and see and assist as may be necessary. And so with that in mind, I will yield to our engineer.
Thank you very much. Few items to go through this evening. I did hand out a packet with some supplementary information to go through this evening here. So we'll start out with the Northeast Tioga Reconstruction Phase 2 project. Update on that. So at the last commission meeting, it was decided that we would draft a letter and for the city to send to the contractor. I did draft that letter. That's included in the handout here that I provided. I had sent that over to Liz the next day, and then a day later, the contractor responded and said, "Oh, we believe we have met final completion on the project, and would like to do a walkthrough." So at that point, we kind of said, "Well, I don't necessarily believe that, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll hold the walkthrough." So we did that last week. And there are still items to be completed out there. However, they're they don't find the items needing correction or needing completion. So I guess at this point, I think it would be most appropriate to send that letter and give them that notice that it's completed, and if they don't want to, if they want to make the decision to not do that, so you can hire somebody else to complete the work withhold for the costs associated with it. So I believe Liz had done a review of the letter and had no comments on it.
Do you need a motion to send the letter?
Yes, yep.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that. What are we clarifying? What are we calling this letter?
So it'd be the Article 14, notice of defective work and intention to hire alternate contractor.
Okay, so we have a And then a second, send a letter of defective work, is that correct? Okay. Are there any questions on that? Okay, if there's no questions, comments, or concerns, vote. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion to send that letter carries.
I'll probably send that to you, the Word document that to you. Put it on letterhead, let's see. So. Okay, moving on to the recreational trail project up at the dam, status update on the construction contracts. The contractors executed them, they're just waiting on their bonds to be completed. So I anticipate at the next commission meeting having that contract at the signature. We did kind of give a ballpark on start. We are looking mid to late August, getting started on the project. Anticipate a month or so time frame for the construction. What they're indicating preliminarily. So, more to come on that project. 3rd Street Northwest, North Hanson Street construction project. We did do the substantial completion walkthrough on that. In the handout I provided a certificate of substantial completion that we've issued for that, and there were a few very minor punch list items for the contractor to complete. Yeah, a couple of concrete sidewalk panels that were cracked, and area of asphalt, a tie-in at the south end of one of the roads that we did. So some minor adjustments of some elevations. So very minor items on that. So
Is there a date, timeline you gave them to complete those punch list items? I'm not seeing, glancing at it.
yeah, it's not indicated here on that. I'll check with them what they're planning. I think what they were kind of anticipating was they have the concrete crew coming in here in like a week or so, or a couple weeks for it's the same contractor for the Main Street project. So they're planning kind of piggyback those couple minor items with that construction. So I'll verify with them.
Yeah, I would like to see a date of some sort, just for accountability. I don't want anything open-ended, not finished.
Yeah.
Have in other areas.
Yeah. Okay. With that is, I guess the next item on that project is the contractor's application for payment number 5, for $281,054.50. That is primarily for the asphalt paving that was completed earlier this spring, as well as a reduction in retainage from 10% to 5%. Typical at this point in the construction process. Proceed accordingly. So with that, there would still be just under $154,000 remaining. Need final addressing those functional items. With that, I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Second to approve, said
$281,054.
motion and a second to approve the payment of $281,054.50 to Crow River Construction. Any discussion? Questions, comments, or concerns? We'll move to vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Moving on then to the North Main Street reconstruction project. A brief update on construction. They did, finalize, the underground utility, portion of the project last week. So they're, I guess currently kind of working on schedule. Their work prep for the cement stabilized base, which is scheduled for next week. That operation will be Tuesday, Wednesday, I think is kind of when they're planning to start that. So they'll complete that work shortly thereafter. Continue with curb and gutter, sidewalk, concrete, asphalt. Things are moving along nicely with that project. Concerns as far as schedule goes. We did provide an updated schedule that is included in the packet submitted. They're looking at asphalt paving somewhere around the week of 28, according to that schedule, so they'll that may be pushed back a week or so, but they're on track to be pretty well completed by the project. So yeah, heading in the right direction. With that, they have submitted contractor's application for payment number 1. The value of that is $925,794.45. Approval of that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, with the motion and the second to approve payment number 1 to Crow River. Questions, comments, or concerns from the board? We'll vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, and the last item I have this evening is kind of related to this map here. So there's an existing cast iron water main that runs on the south edge of the school property, runs east and west between Benson Street and North Main Street. The plan was to abandon that water main, and then this spring, late winter, early spring, there was a break on it. And it was repaired, so crews went out and had that repaired. And at that time, it was identified that they believed the residents at 203 North Benson Street was tied to that main. So from there, we've been kind of evaluating different options, and trying to kind of figure out where that water service runs exactly, in order to still proceed with abandoning that main, as it really provides no other benefit to the city to remain in service. And obviously having a break here this spring indicates a good gives you a good indication that it's needing either put out of service or replace. So from that, we kind of figured that this map kind of lays it out, but the option would be to extend that water service out directly to Benson Street in order to be able to fully abandon that water main. So they did disconnect it at Main Street. There is still a valve over at Benson Street. That the plan was to just shut that valve off, just put that water main out of service. So we did kind of figured out routing the water service. We did get a proposal from Crow River to do that work. Estimated value on that is $27,620 to essentially install 150-ish feet of water main or water service, close street restoration, concrete restoration. So it is kind of a higher price, higher cost for that. And kind of our thought process on it. There is potentially an option to just, since it's located near the project, but it's not right in the heart of the whole project, it would be somewhere we could check with the local contractor or something to see if they could take that water service and potentially save some money there. If we want to look at that. We could, the other option would be to just leave that water service connected to that main for the time being and address it at a later date. However, kind of like I said before, with having a water break on that, main last spring. Taking time off with that. So different options.
Are you thinking of like a true abandonment or like you said, just closing valves? And the reason I ask is 20, 30 years from now, I don't want someone to come through and be, oh, the valve's closed, open it up. That's why we're not getting water. We're filling up abandoned, but not abandoned.
Yep. So what they did at Main Street was they did disconnect it actually, fully disconnect that. Benson Street, the plan for now would be just to close that valve, and we could potentially have them dig up a little area and get the valve box out of there so there's no access to it. So your example there doesn't occur.
It will happen.
Yeah, those types of things definitely. Oh, this valve's closed, look back. Yeah, that would.
What are the repair costs when you had to conduct the repair, do you recall?
I don't know, that was something Jeff Mulder had handled that, when he had the break, just coordinated that. They had someone come in and do the excavation for me. Sit through like we did there. Kind of cost us.
You think more failure is likely?
It's 50, 60, 70-year-old cast iron pipe. Yes.
Yeah.
And with it providing, there's no other need for it, there's only this single, other than this single residence tied to it, so it's kind of take it out of service, whether now or whether it's addressed later. So.
Is this property owner having any issues right now with the water? I mean, like if she's got water already?
Yes, yeah, she has water right now, just something that needs to be corrected at some point. When that point is like I said, it's kind of a ticking time bomb. That water main's gonna fail tomorrow or 15 days from now. The unfortunate part of it is, that house sits well back into the property, so there would excavated into her yard quite a ways to get that correction. Did try to find someone or Crow River tried to find someone to improve direction of drilling. There just wasn't anyone available to do it in short order. Their schedule would be able to do the excavation that we change. So they're great. Thanks.
For a motion.
Yeah, I guess, we could, I guess if you want to proceed with the quote that they provided, which as I mentioned, it's kind of on the higher side. We can do that or the other option, we could quote the local contractor, see if we can. Rick Esterholm, down some, little odds of doing this. Option to reach out to see something to do this something fall.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, if it's not an emergency right now, obviously,
Yeah.
it might be sometime to open it up for bids and let the contractors put boxing on it and get competitive.
Yeah.
It's up to you to-
I make a motion to do that. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll reach out to them.
My motion is to, we'll get bids from local contractors, see what we come up with.
I'll second that.
All right, with the motion and a second to go out for bids on the North Benson Street water tie-in. If there are no questions, comments, or concerns, then we go vote.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, I do have one other question. How long do you think it would take to proceed with? Shouldn't take very long, should it?
Yeah, it's not like we have to, for something like this, we don't have to formally go out for the true bidding, so I mean. I'll give Rick a call tomorrow.
So we can potentially have new numbers and. at the next
I would
commission
think by
meeting?
the next meeting.
Perfect. Okay. That's what I was wondering, because we just have the 30-day.
Oh, yeah.
I was curious.
And that's, well, with their schedule, I'll probably see them, so with their. Okay. That is all I have. Also there's. Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, old business number 3, Tioga Airport. Justin.
Evening Commissioners, hello, my name is Jeff Mo Jr. I am the chairman of the board for the Tioga Airport, the Tioga Airport Authority. I came here tonight to introduce myself to new and existing council members and public alike. Last 6 months, Tioga Airport Authority Board has been very busy from reorganization of the board to FAA projects, new facilities on our airspace. Reorganization. In January, the board reorganized and we welcomed a new member of the board, Mr. David Pagel. I was voted on as chairman and airport manager. Mr. Paul Wyrock retained his seat as vice chair. Mr. Pagel was voted on as secretary treasurer. Other members of our board are Dean Hansen and Curtis Van de Sant. The projects, as I stated before, the airport's been very busy thus far this year. From small projects and paperwork to our new taxiway lighting system. Below is the list of projects that have been accomplished thus far. We had Tioga municipal signage, thanks to the Tioga fund, put on our terminal. We had door locks changed from the outside to the inside. So basically, if somebody gets stranded out there, they don't have to get locked out if they don't know what the C-tap is. So we took the locks from the outside and moved them in because we have double doors out there. We installed pavement millings from on our terminal roadways. So basically from prior projects, we've had asphalt millings. Instead of it raining and getting muddy out there, we put the asphalt millings down and it helps out tremendously. Been working on past audits. We For some reason, the audits had not been updated for quite a few years out there, so Trish Olvey, our bookkeeper, has been working on that, along with Brady Martz, and we should be completed by December of this year. It should be completely tied up. We just finished, I just did the walkthrough today for building of our sixplex, a 36-inch or 36-foot by 200-foot T-hanger building for rental spots for pilots. That is already full, honestly. We got it already full. We don't even have it working properly yet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we are growing out there. We got a new bifold door for our slant wall where we keep all of our snow removal equipment and all of our summertime equipment. Like I said before, our taxiway lighting project, if you guys look out there, if you're driving by Senex anytime soon, if you see a pilot, plane land, you'll see the nice pretty blue lights pretty close to Liz's shirt color. So they are very easily to be seen even from the highway. FAA weather cameras, are being installed on our beacon tower. I will have an address later with the date so that anybody from the public, if you'd like to know what it looks like out in the country, especially wintertime, so you don't have to leave town, you can sign on there and then you'll be able to see it. We've got some culvert work going on to help with snow water drainage, along with providing expanded parking on the north side of our terminal. And like I stated before you guys were all on the board, we do have a flight program at the airport in connection and partnership with the Minot Aero Center, helping people learn how to fly. So basically, it's the FTAP program through the North Dakota Aeronautics Commission. The airport gets reimbursed 80% to have Minot send a trainer pilot and a plane here. You pay for instruction here on the airport in Tioga, and then we pay for him to get back. So it saves you guys, or anybody, a trip to either Williston or Minot. We can train you right here in Tioga. Our future endeavors at the end of the month, Tioga Airport Authority will be having its yearly CIP meeting, which is our capital improvement plans with the State Aeronautics Board and the FAA on July 31st at 9 a.m. at the Minot Airport. If anybody's interested in attending, get a hold of me, I'll let you know. We will review our 10-year outlook on many of our projects to help build and make our airport one of the very special airports in the state. Among those future projects are a full parallel runway or our parallel taxiway, sorry, great part. Along with our main runway of a main overlay of our main runway 1, 2, and 3, 0. And moving our existing fuel farm that provides 100 low lead aviation fuel and Jet A fuel for pilots to refuel at our airfield. In the past, the City Council and Tioga Airport Authority might not have always seen eye to eye on some matters, and I believe that we have mended fences since those times, and we'll look forward to working with this City Council and its new members. Last thing I'd like to add is our North Dakota Aeronautics President Kyle Weiner, while attending a meeting for projects being held in Grand Forks, he called airports economic engines. And I, for one, could not agree with him more. Airports are economic engines for communities, and in our community, it is extremely valuable asset to have. If you have any questions or would like to know anything more about our airport, please don't hesitate to ask. Our board holds a monthly meetings at the Tioga Municipal Airport Terminal, third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Thanks for listening to me babble. If you guys have any questions, I hope I can answer.
Well, I have a question.
Yes, shoot.
So I had to work, but I missed the Freedom Fest, the festivities. How did that go at the airport?
We ran out of food. We had anywhere between, in my opinion, and talking with Miss Kathy Nessett, anywhere between 500 and 700 people show. It was a dandy. There's quite a few people in the crowd behind me that were there. They can test there was quite a few people. It was perfect weather. We didn't get as many pilots to come into the plane as we were hoping, but there's always next time. So, yeah, we run out of food, which was a good thing. And I think everybody got to past people that have been here that moved away probably come out and seen it. And we've definitely made some changes. And in the next 10 years, there are going to be a lot of changes up there, a lot. So I encourage anybody that's willing, able, or want to come out there. There's always somebody around. So, does anybody else have any questions that I can help you with? Brett, you need to learn to fly.
We're gonna apply.
Come on out, let's get you started.
You have done an awesome job. The
Thank
board
you.
is doing a great job.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, old business number 4, Mr. Scorpion.
Same today, there are 3 copies of that. There are 3 copies of a bond letter that we received today from the bond council or bond attorney in Fargo.
I haven't seen the bond letter, I've seen the AG's letter goes with this afternoon.
There's 7 copies of my presentation for you guys to look at.
What's the bond letter?
20 copies that can be distributed. Unless Fargo is ready.
The AG's letter.
Okay, real quick,
Thank you.
this topic, that's awfully contentious and for that, I don't know if I've ever seen city commission item on the agenda that hasn't turned into something. We have a young man sitting over here right now, and my understanding is this last meeting, there was also some young people in the crowd that heard some things that did not represent the people of Tioga, whether it's swear words, something ugly. I want to make darn sure that we limit that tonight, okay? It's not gonna turn into a rah-rah session where someone comes up and then someone comes up, this and that. If we have time at the end of the meeting after the consent approval, we'll open it up. Everybody gets a shot to come up if you want to, but please think about what you want to say. If you can't say what you want to say in 3 minutes, you should probably think about what you're actually wanting your message to be. So again, what happened last meeting, not gonna happen tonight, okay? We want to hear everybody. We do not want it to turn out like it did last time. Like I said, there's a young man right here, right now. He deserves better than that. Let's conduct ourselves the way people from Tioga conduct themselves, can. Please.
All right, thank you. In the years I've lived in Tioga, and that's quite a few, we've always been a community. And I think last weekend, Fourth of July celebration demonstrated what you can do if you work together as a community. You know, we all want this community to, you know, have a community for us to live, work, and which our families can have, take pride and enjoy. Today, we're divided over the Tioga community expansion and the use of the $16 to $17 million for this project. And we need to bring the community together. There are some facts that I think need to be reconsidered. First, there was very little public outreach relative to this community center. It appeared to be decided by a small group or cadre of people sometime around January of 2022. Can't really find out a lot about it. Public meetings were virtually non-existent in the discussion relative to this. There was no notifications for people to participate. There was one public meeting held that I'm aware of on the 17th of July in 2023, where there was people were given an opportunity to speak, but there were no records kept. There was no details. There were no, you know, nothing for us to do other than voice our frustrations. When the committee, actually that meeting was in September of 22. There was a committee formed a little later. That committee met, but wasn't given the opportunity to really have a lot of input. Footprint was set, the external design was set, the location was set, the cost was set. The only thing they could really do is pick the colors of the walls or move some walls around a little bit. There was $16 to $17 million committed to this project. There was no operation or maintenance budget. And it never has been repaired, yet construction is beginning. You know, financing contracts have been signed. The current operating budget for the current facility that exists today is about $300,000. What's it gonna be for the addition? Who knows? No one's even tried to make an estimate. There's been no needs assessment, no long-term recreational planning, no private fundraising attempted to supplement what we're gonna do, no collaboration with the school or the park board or with the business community. It was just decided by a group of people to do this. And to be honest, that's a very frustrating picture for those of us that are left outside thinking, you know, the first time you do something, you learn. After that, it gets easier. Every time you do it, it gets easier. There's a lot of people out there that we could be consulting with that have made these efforts and can give us some enlightenment on how we should do or what we should do and how we can do it better. This expansion of the library amounts to a 175 by 175 foot addition to the library. And from my perspective, I'm really wondering whether or not that's the way to go in today's technological age when people are doing more and more things with electronic copies rather than holding a book in your hand. I understand some people like to hold books, but the Kindle and the electronic means of reading gives abilities that aren't available in book form for the part. With a Kindle, you can increase the font size for older people. You give them a little knowledge and utilization of electronic equipment, and they'll probably adapt it and really, you know, appreciate it. You know, we tried to say, whoa, hold up, let us have an opportunity to have something to say about this. We put together a petition of 400 plus signatures of community members. Sure, there weren't all voters in the city of Tioga. There were community members. This is a community center. It was ignored. We put together a petition as directed by the ordinances of the city of Tioga. We collected, I believe it was 264 signatures from qualified electors in the city of Tioga, which was significantly more than was required by the auditor's office. We got nowhere. It went nowhere. The auditor stuck it in her drawer and that was the end of it. We folks are at a kind of a fork in the road. You're gonna have to make some choices. You can either just stay the course, build the building as it is, spend the dollars for a project that's gonna last 50, 75 years, and you've got whatever it is. Or you can suspend the project temporarily. Temporarily, I'm not saying permanently. I'm not saying you shouldn't build something. But what I'm saying is there may be other features that are much more desirable in building a gigantic gymnasium to have an open gym. I had a discussion today with Steve Holden, the superintendent of Washington City. And I asked them about joint powers agreements. I asked them if they had one. That's how they're functioning with a joint powers agreement between the school and Waterford City. He said, absolutely. And he said, it's working really well. He said, we had a few bumps to start with. But he said, the school, the city, and the park board work with the unit to operate their facility and it's working very well. They have a board of directors that manages that joint powers agreement. And it's, in his mind, it's absolutely the way Tioga should go, and the school and the city should work together. Make use of it, decide which one wants the larger facility, build a smaller facility for the other, you know, whatever, you know, can be concluded by more collaboration between the various parties in this community. Our suggestion is that you suspend this contract for 1 year. Give yourselves a year to take and reevaluate whether or not this is what you want, whether or not this is what's best for Tioga, whether or not this is what's best for the kids of Tioga. You know, the children are what you seem to be most concerned about. That's great. That's wonderful. But is a gymnasium going to serve the purposes of all of those kids in Tioga, or is it going to serve the purposes of the few that want to go to a gymnasium? How about the rest of them? Well, there are ways that we can reconfigure the thinking behind this, and maybe get the whole community involved. There's people from Tioga that have been involved in this process. Dennis Johnson is a classmate of my wife's. Mayor Dickinson went through this back in the early 2000s. I think in 2004, when they built the first unit of what they ended up building as a community center. And he said prior to that, they had multiple votes on the funding for that facility. We haven't got one vote. We haven't had one vote. They had multiple votes in order to get the people to approve the idea, and then they finally approved it, and they finally built what they wanted. And they built it over 3 phases to get what they feel they needed. And my understanding is a beautiful facility and a functional facility, and that's what we need. We need something that everybody can get benefit from, not just a chosen few. There are professional consultants out there that can, Brent Bogart, work with Blackburn City and multiple projects, including the Rough Rider Center. He's with AE2S. Maria Effort, Hanson. Know Maria since he was a friend of my son's and colleague back in the, I don't even remember when, 98, I think, probably. She's with the Commerce Department. She's a community services director. And there's a young lady out of mine, Megan Langley, has a company called Strength and ND. She does this for a living, helps people plan, what communities activities should have. Form a committee of local volunteers, get them involved, get them to go out, take a look at what's out there, bring back videos, have discussions, make it a collaborative effort with a large group of people rather than a few. Designing something, the mayor, it'll provide something, but is it something that we want? Is it something that we can continue to afford, or will want to afford? I don't know. I have my doubts. I think what you need to do, and we think you need to do, those of us on the petitioning committee, and let's get that public output, input, and see, what comes together. And the last thing I think we've kind of suggested is to, get your attorney, stop the activity on litigation between we petitioners and the city of Tioga, and we'll agree to have that litigation dismissed if they will. So otherwise, we're going to continue to pursue it in the courts. It's as simple as that, and I'm just being honest. I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you that we feel strongly about this, and we will, be more than happy to work with it. What'll it cost? We don't know. But that letter from bond council that I gave you, don't have much to worry about there. You can set that money aside, no penalties, as long as it's used for, this ultimately used for construction of some facility of the nature being suggested. That money can sit for any period of time, pretty much, until you do that construction. You can't use it for something else. You can't invest it at an interest rate higher than what you're paying interest. That's not a problem. The bond is not the problem. The problem is the obstinance of just moving forward on a project that was ill-conceived and ill-delivered, as far as we're concerned. FCI, I'm sure they'll be willing to negotiate any costs that they've incurred that are over and above what they should. But that's, again, a process of negotiation, because they have to know that if you build something, they're going to want to be involved in bidding on that project and should be involved in bidding on that project. So do we want to spend $16 million on something that doesn't have public support? Or would we rather spend that money on something that has been put together by a larger group of people from the community of Tioga? That's what it kind of boils down to. You have an opportunity to get the community to work together again rather than be as split up as they are. That's what it kind of boils down to. You have the opportunity. You have control. You have all of the authority you need to do the right thing. And that would be to stop today and reevaluate. And what's been suggested is the right thing to do, wonderful. But I would suggest to you, you're gonna find there are other opportunities that are gonna want to be included in this facility. And with that, I'll yield to anyone else that you would wish to speak.
Okay, so you're right about the bond. The bond is very Tioga friendly. I talked to the bond advisor, I've been reading that bond contract over and over and over again, wondering if I'm missing something. It just seems too favorable to the town. My concern is we don't know how the contractor's gonna handle news that, hey, we're thinking we might pause, we don't really know, we're just kind of wondering what the penalties would be. Can you talk to us? I've heard they tried that up in Crosby and it spooked them real bad and now they're in litigation or threatened litigation, like. It's a dicey move, it's a dicey play that could really, really backfire. I don't know what the right answer is. I wish we could change the course of history and go back and do it differently. I think everybody then would have had a chance to vote on something they wanted, get behind it, rally behind it, push the project through the goal line, we're all giving each other high fives at the end of the grand opening. We didn't have that opportunity. We can't change that though. Like we can't change how it was handled initially. All we can do is figure out the best path forward for the town. And it's a really long-winded way of saying I'm not confident one way or the other. Like, how much liability would we put on ourselves? How much reward would it be if we did suspend it, take it to a vote, find out that everybody wants it badly exactly the way it is, and just punch it through the goal line? A little validation would be awesome. I just don't know if we're allowed to. I really don't. There's, like I said, the bond is the bond, and it's an awesome bond, I think. In my opinion, it is solid. It is very title friendly. Did we sit on that? Yes, 100%. No penalty, no nothing. It's the contractor that I'm worried about.
Well, I might suggest, talk to them. Ask them. What are the penalties gonna be if we decide to suspend it? Very simple conversation, I think. Have that conversation with them, say, look, the community doesn't feel that this was handled in a fashion that they think was right. We'd like to back up, take another chance, getting the community involved and getting the community's approval. Right now, you don't have it. No question in my mind. You know, the one thing I will say, and Rhonda knows very well, I asked this question about the bond. And that is that when you look at the bond document, there's 6 sections missing.
I'll speak to that. That's misrepresenting.
No, I'm not misrepresenting anything. I'm sorry, I'm at the podium. I have to.
And I understand that, but we're not going to convey information that's not accurate, and I'm happy to update you. I understand you're in receipt of an email. At least I'm told that that was forwarded to Mr. Scarpel from the city's bond council. You're referring to a formatting error. I understand that's been gone through by bond council. He misnumbered paragraphs. There is no missing section in the bond agreement, for the record. I don't need new rumors. We've got enough crosstalk amongst the population, so we're not going to put out there information that we both know not to be true in a room of 100 people. We're not doing that.
Point of order.
I did also call.
Mr. Scarpel has the podium. She should not interrupt. Robert's rules of order.
She's on the board.
No, I just don't, that
You're
cannot
not
go.
order.
I don't want.
Robert's rules of order. Probably read.
Really? Guys, we're not doing this. I told you earlier. Now,
Yeah. May I finish what I wanted to say?
I'm gonna ask you to please finish. I'm gonna ask everybody in the audience not to interrupt him. Board members. Everybody up here, let's not interrupt him. Let's let him finish.
The bond document is missing the sections numbered 17 through 22. They may or may not have been relevant, and they may have been removed on purpose. But any good attorney would have insisted that the document be renumbered correctly. Any good attorney would have done that.
We're not taking shots, please.
Well, she's taking shots at me, sir. I'm sorry.
We're moving on.
I'm done.
Can I just talk about one thing?
Can we wait?
Here's the problem.
Listen.
The library wasn't on the agenda, but it's attacked. I was on the library board for 6 years. I think I should be able to have a little defense to that. Since I wasn't even listed on the agenda, yet it's attacked up here. Don't you think I should be allowed to say one thing in its defense?
You should, but I really want you to think about what you want to say and like.
Oh, I know what I
if there's-
wanna say,
If there's
exactly.
time.
I know what I want to say now.
Okay, but if there's time after the consent agenda, we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk for 3 minutes, uninterrupted.
Somebody should be able to defend something. In somebody's agenda, and that's part of the agenda. I mean, that's just kind of-
We went through this 2 weeks ago.
But it's a little different. This is on this information here about the library, this slap of eyes.
We'll talk about it. All right, before we get into new business. How do we add a public line?
Well, I think you're gonna have to entertain a motion. You can amend the agenda. It's better to do it at the beginning. Obviously, there was a development for rebuttal that occurred, so we would note that for the record. And if there's a commission member that wishes to amend the agenda to allow perhaps for public comment towards the end of the meeting, is that what you're thinking, or gentlemen, or?
This is just a quote from MCI Construction to replace the Tioga water tower garage door.
Oh,
We just want to have that.
and just move to amend the agenda to include the SGI quote. That's a commission member, if they wish, if one of you wants to include that, and then get a second and roll call vote.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Modification.
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, with the motion and a second to approve the modification of the agenda to include the FCI construction quote for the water tower garage door. There are no questions on it. Do a vote.
Yes.
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 Okay, moving on to what will be number. Okay. All right, new business number 4, that's the Tioga fund application.
Are you gonna share what the applications are?
So,
Speaking to your microphone, please.
this is the Tioga fund application for the Tioga Area Economic Development Corporation for their annual event for the drone camp. They're seeking $10,000. Tioga Fund Advisory Board the approval of that $10,000 from the community improvement for the Tioga Fund.
Or do we have a motion when we review on Tioga fund application?
I'll make a motion to approve funds.
I'll second that. All right, with the motion and a second to approve the annual drone camp event in the amount of $10,000. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. New business number 5 is the 90-day probation.
This is the motion raise recommendation for Cody Holland. First 90, ending the 90-day introductory period.
Since evaluation has been completed, I want to just recommend that for this candidate. So I would make a motion that we would approve.
I'll second.
All right, with the motion and a second to approve Cody's 90-day probation completion. If there are no questions, comments, or concerns from the board, we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Who is that?
He is one of our newest officers.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, number 7, bid on city-owned land.
The public's information, do you want me to say what the bid, who submitted the bid?
Yeah, would you?
Yeah, it's Wagner and Sons Construction Inc. There's a proposal, it's dated to July 10th of 2024, addressed to the city of Tioga. They're proposing or offering rather a bid to purchase the city-owned lot, which is ID number 03000072170005. That's Simmons Legal Edition and, lot 1, block 17 in the south 40 feet of the vacated Second Street. And that's abbreviated, but I think they mean adjacent to Simmons Edition. They're offering the sum of $8,050. And they indicate that they have immediately adjacent. If that was the nature of the interest.
Is there a motion on the bid? City-owned land.
And I should add, they appear to be the only bidder. Sorry, I should have thrown that out there. That may be important.
We talked about this one commission meeting, correct? Were they looking to expand their business with the property?
I think it was for additional parking for the business. So this is the law, and it's just south, 2 small little houses, southwest of the city. And the lot immediately to the south of that.
And it was publicly advertised with the notices of their bid offer.
That's what it's for. Fix them apart.
Perfect, thank you. I would make a motion to approve.
I'd second that.
All right, with the motion and second to approve the bid in the amount of $8,050 for the. There are no questions, comments, and concerns. We'll move to vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. All right, number 8, we kind of touched on this already, the RNT open board position.
If there's anything we need to do with that, right, since he was already appointed to the RDP board.
Need to engage in communication with our, of course, because they'll have to do a substitution on their side, but that's beyond the scope of our control.
Right, if I'm understanding this correctly, we handled our end, they weren't aware of that, they sent out an email saying, hey, if you haven't done so by now, could you please appoint somebody, and there's an after effect, so I don't think there's anything. All right. New business number 9, poison control for gophers.
Jason Steele, City of Tioga. As you know, we have a gopher problem in the city here, mainly up north, by the dam, north of the dam, south of the dam, the Annabelle, roundabout, and some of the common areas. A lot of stuff adjacent to the high schools, cemeteries. I know you guys have some out there. At the airfield there. Basically what the city's lost control of, $4,200. And that would get us enough poison to do about 100 acres. And some implements to inject the poison.
It's actually $4,299.95.
Some change. So
Is he covering the schools or not the schools?
not the
as well?
schools, but we asked the commission if we could volunteer, or not volunteer, but reach out to the schools, the cemeteries, the churches, the hospital. If we, because once we start getting rid of these things, they're gonna. So if we all kind of community together and start making it all at once, and at least have a conversation with everybody, maybe we can all just get rid of all these things. So.
You talked to the schools, yeah.
No, I was approached by the church, the Zion Church up north. We did a little bit of gopher poisoning a couple weeks back, and that's exactly where we went, right to the church. So. We have a lot of open sites, construction as well. Community centers, we have stuff in high schools, and the start of those focus are going to be pushed. So we just have to get a whole lot of them now. We've waited this long, it's too long.
And they won't let us shoot the gophers on the football field anymore.
It'll be the ideal way to go, but we can't do that.
Used to be fun.
All right, the request is $1,299.95.
I have one other question, I'm sorry. So would you be reaching out to the churches in the school, or are you asking for a commissioner to do
I'm
that?
not commissioner. It's the city.
I can speak for United Cemetery.
Gophers,
Gophers are bad.
we like the road, but we like the community support, so we can all work
Absolutely.
together.
Yes, absolutely.
Cover it all.
No, 4,000 just covered the city's common areas. The park, the stuff that we maintain, that's what we covered, but what we're asking is for the outreach areas to do it the same way.
So what would we do for situations like the cemetery?
Well, logistically, it might be wise to.
We don't have that kind of, no,
Yeah, that's what we're asking right now.
all our money was stolen. So yes.
It's not fun.
Funding for like security.
Okay. I don't have to.
I don't know the answer to that, but I think it would be appropriate just for logistical reasons, appoint someone on the commission, an agent of the commission for those folks to communicate with, and for you guys to reach out to them, because you're right, presumably you don't want to eliminate half the rodent problem just to have it move across town and have the same problem all over again. And so, I mean, I think the first step logistically is to appoint the agent. I mean, if you guys want to approve the request, and as much as the city's budgeting is concerned, that's fine, but you should definitely be finding a person to communicate with those other entities if we're actually trying to eradicate these things.
That would be a great thing for the finance commissioner.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, I can reach out.
I think the city spends money really foolishly in a lot of ways. I think that the city should approve, give it to buy the spray for all these outreach things, and you'll get a good vibe with the community, and you did something for them, not just city property. The cemetery,
James gonna reach out, see if there's any additional areas you wanna hit, and then we wanna revise the quote. But I know time is kind of of the essence, that's why you're here tonight.
Well, so that would cover me 100 acres. And that's quite a bit of poison, I guess, if somebody does. That's a lot of poison, so it won't take me, it'll take me quite a while to get rid of it. So, I guess what I'm saying, if somebody needs some assistance now, we can prove it under that dollar amount, but.
Oh, so you're just asking, if it's okay to,
No, I'm reaching out for the city to get their stuff taken care of, and then you guys to possibly.
We ask this at Mr. Steele,
Yeah.
for the $4,299.95, you're telling us it's approximately 100 acres worth of gopher offing materials. Is that more material than what the city actually needs for the city's property itself?
No,
Okay, so we need more than this
You
to
would need
address the other
but
property.
that would be a lot of the, kind of the outreach common areas, ditches, and a lot of the stuff that we don't maintain,
Okay,
so.
so you need both permission and you're trying to get a permission to go into those areas and do whatever you need to do, or to work with them, arrange them to be worked with, and you're saying this would only be the expense to cover the ground that the city actually maintains. Okay. Do you have an estimate of what might be required above and beyond $4,299.95 to address additional gopher problems, which are immediately next to the city? You got a ballpark on that?
I believe it's 100, almost 200 acres total.
So it'd be about twice what you're asking for.
Yes.
So it'd be about another $8,400.
Total of 8,000.
Okay, the total between the city and the additional acreage would be $8,400. $8,500.
Minus the trees, I already had.
Asking for a cap of $10,000.
There you go. That's where we're going. All right. Thank you. And
Before you do that, what kind of poison are you talking about? I mean, we buy a lot of poison and that seems really expensive.
It's $158 for a 25 pound pallet. Of the
Is
pellets.
this through Ross Elway?
Yes, it's over here.
it's Rosal pin, is the Rosal pocket gopher bait.
The other thing I wanted to mention is there's nobody on the commission here that remember, you were probably here. We did contact the federal government one time and the federal government came in, they have a guy comes in and does this sort of thing. I don't remember the cost, but it wasn't, I don't think outrageous, but we brought them in basically to take the liability off us because it is poison. And, but it would be worth checking into what the cost was. There is a man who's, this is his only job in the federal government.
It was with NDSU.
And I did talk to NDSU.
I was not with NDSU. I did not call the guys NDSU. I called the guy, at first I called the federal game.
But that was who it was, that's where,
Do you still have his number?
I still have his contact.
Good. What was his name?
Oh,
You
I
said
don't
he did.
remember that part.
Okay.
Well,
That's part of the
I
medical
contacted
package.
NDSU to get the poison, they don't supply poison.
So remember, NDSU, it's not federal.
Right, it was an NDSU.
I was in contact with, the guy we brought in was a federal. And he lived up in the northern part of the state here. So don't confuse NDSU with federal government, because NDSU is state government. The guy we hired was federal government.
I have a recollection of what you're talking about, and I don't remember the details honestly, Tim, but there was some outreach. It's worth looking into.
It's worth looking into because it takes the complete liability off the city. For people like this coming and nibbling on poison. Good gopher poison is, good gopher poison. Good. Good stuff. If it's bad stuff and it doesn't, it's infected. I just might just.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
I mean, the other option is to do a tentative approval up to a certain amount, but instruct Mr. Steele to contact any and all agencies who may be able to offer, you know, support or application for limit the liability of the city, or you can have them come back. I don't know anything about Clover, so I don't know what kind of table we're talking about here, but
We started this with just one option, now it sounds like we have two, maybe the second one's a really good option, could we bring it back up?
That's
2 Mondays.
what you guys want to do.
It's up to these guys, but we inherited like 100% more options than we had a little bit ago, so that's good.
I think looking into that is a good idea. I'm not opposed to the first option either. I mean, it does seem a little rather high, but I mean, if it's good stuff, that's great. But maybe we should look into that just to take a little liability off of us. Guess that can't hurt.
if it doesn't hurt the time table for him, I mean, it's a big deal. I don't see what that's a big deal. So big table, is that what you're thinking? That's for yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, at least you agree you want to go for Scott.
All right, good deal. Max.
All right, number 10, Mr. Litton.
Good evening. How are you guys tonight? Okay, good. So I'm here to ask on behalf of the citizens of Tioga that with the open commission seats, that there be a motion made tonight to hold a special election and not allow the board to have the ability to just appoint anybody of their choosing.
My opinion, it's a 2-year term that it would be nice to have the citizens allow who would go.
You guys know how to petition, gather signatures, things of that nature.
So there are 2 different options according to North Dakota Century Code 40-910. So there are a few ways we can do this. You guys can call for a special election, which is what I'm asking you to do. Or you guys can negate that and appoint somebody if nobody files a petition within 15 days, tomorrow being the 15th day. So I'm asking that you guys want to be transparent. I'm asking that you guys vote right now to have a special election to fill that position and not appoint. I think it's fair. I take that as a no.
I'll have to give it some thought.
Okay, I'll give you some thought here. There's a petition, 55 signatures are required to do it. Thank you.
Well, that's what we asked if you had.
Yeah,
I was asking for you guys to be generous and do it on your own.
When you do that, can you hold this, or a special election for the community center too, please, at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, so when a special election tried to get held last year, you don't entertain it, but now you're looking for us to entertain yours.
This is a special election to fill a position that's required. That's what it is.
Yes, it is.
So,
Simply asked if you had any of that information,
and there you go.
and yes, you gave it to us now.
Okay.
So what was wrong when you didn't just, when we asked you right there, why couldn't you say, actually, yes, I do, yes, I understand you're giving us opportunity to be transparent. But yes, we also do like to take a little bit of time to think about it, to make sure we are trying to make a good decision.
So I gave you guys, I asked you nicely to do it. I was a good neighbor. I asked nicely. Okay. And then there was dead silence. And to add to this, at the candidate forum, you said, if a petition is brought to me, we are going to instantly do that. There you go. Watch.
okay, thank you, Mr. Litton. That's not true.
Well, it might be helpful just to clarify for public interest, because seats are sometimes vacated and sometimes they're not. There is a statute in North Dakota. I mean, it's actually a state statute, applies to both commission cities and council cities. And what it says is that if the unexpired term of a seat exceeds 6 months or it is more than 6 months until the next election at which that seat could be filled, then a commission or council body has essentially, well, there's really kind of three options because there's two initially. Mr. Litton's correct. If within 15 days of that seat being vacated, the commission decides that they wish to fill that seat by election, they can do that consensually and without motion of the public. If after 15 days, or I'm sorry, within 15 days, a petition is filed and it sufficiently meets the signature requirements and cites the statute, then the commission must subject it to special election. And if after 15 days, no petition is filed, then the commission could still ask for a special election to fill the unexpired term, or after the expiration of 15 days without a petition, then they could appoint. So I have not seen that, and you need to make sure you check the signatures and ensure, whatever number of signatures under that, and I can look it up if you need me to, but under the statute, there's a certain percentage of the voting electorate that's required. If that's met, then you have a special. And we'll have to check the rules for specials later, the timing of that, because I don't remember them, and I know that that's sometimes a question, but we can check that later. But those are the rules for a vacant seat, which is sometimes different than a petition or a referral. That's a different thing. So for clarity and citizen purposes, that's what the law says. You don't need to do anything now. You should review that and take it up at the next.
All right, 11 is the addition that we talked about for the garage door at the water tower. Okay, the quote is $2,462 plus labor for replacement of the damaged garage doors.
It's the main door, isn't it? Or the
door. Like regular metal door.
Yeah, we got a door that's gotta get replaced as well. $462 plus labor. Doesn't have labor.
Well, if it's under 1,200, they don't have to ask, maybe they estimate the waivers under 1,200 bucks. I don't know, I'm speculating, but I think that's likely.
Motion one way or the other.
Put the door. Perfect. Oh, I do trust.
We're replacing a door at the fire hall. It's pretty expensive too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do trust her. I think he does his research.
And I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All right, with the motion and a second to approve the purchase of the replacement door at the water tower. If there are no questions, comments, or concerns from the board, we'll move to vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, consent approval. We've got planning and zoning application, pledge holdings as of June 28th, 2028 for First State Bank and Trust. Payroll for July 5th, 2024, bills for June 2024, and financials for June 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, with the motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as written. Move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Okay, it is.
Can I ask a question? This is just, stuff for myself, I guess, maybe. Is there a possibility to have a copy of the minutes that were approved at last meeting, always available to everybody when they come into the meeting. You'll have a copy off so that we have them. Because if you try to read them in the Wilson Herald, the print is smaller than it's smaller than small. And they're really hard to read in the paper. It would be nice to be able to have a copy of the minutes that were approved. Like now, next, we would have your next meeting when you come into the city commission next time. Just a paper copy of them for everybody. They are.
Would it be all right if I showed you how to navigate our website and get to the minutes? I don't know if they're current though, and I think that's probably what you're getting at. But the
Right,
minutes
I
is
know.
usually. Yeah.
Yeah, I know how to get to them. I've been there already. I've did it 2 times.
I don't have an issue with it one way or the other. I would just want you to be. So I want to make sure I'm understanding what's being asked. So the minutes don't become the official minutes until they're approved at the subsequent meeting. So are you asking for the unofficial?
Unofficial, that way we
Oh,
know.
okay.
The
Well, that's what
unofficial
I'm
would be great.
Okay,
9 times out of 10, you guys, there's not many changes other than second or, second something like that. They're usually approved, but the unapproved minutes would be nice to have when we come in. So we know what was discussed at the last meeting.
yeah, that wouldn't matter to me. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding the question. And I don't think, I mean, they're public record. You could request the unapproved minutes 10 minutes before we walked in. It wouldn't matter. So, but yeah.
I just think it would be a nice courtesy.
Yes, we may find out.
You don't always know the number. Maybe you should have set a number that you're gonna set out there and it's first come, first served. Because sometimes there's 2 people that come to meetings and sometimes there's 200. So I don't want them in trouble if they guess that it's 10 and it ends up being 500 people at the meeting. But maybe you can set a minimum that you just put out as kind of first come, first served. That wouldn't be,
You don't need to make a motion.
nope, you
That
can
is
just
need to-
put those out.
do we got you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, almost 8:30. Guys, what do you think? Take some questions. Okay, 15 minutes, we promised you this.
So
Wait, wait till you get close.
Nathan Soccer, we've been on the library board for 6 years and I'm on the board, because there's a term limit, so. But library is so important to me, as my time on the board, sometimes you hear, like, oh, the library is not useful, or people don't read books anymore, they don't like to hold a book, but none of that's true. It's just conjecture. It's unproved claims and facts that people throw out there and make these blanket statements about the library. No proof at all. But you do have proof that the library is used. It's been presented to the commission multiple times. So, seeing you guys are new to the commission, I hope maybe you go and talk to the library director. See how useful it is. Not only is it good for the children, I heard you guys are interested in helping the children. Well, it improves academics, it improves reading levels. And usually I hear kids say, I want to hold a real book. I don't want to look at a screen. My eyes hurt from looking at the screens all the time. There's other activities at the library too. Crafts. The space is small. There's actually an equation where you figure out your population and your library size. Tioga Library has always been too small if you use that equation. And especially when you consider all the surrounding areas, the library is too small. It's packed. You have kids who are a little louder than they should be. They're reading, having fun, doing activities. And then you have adults who want some quiet. You have maybe some seniors coming and need help with the computers. So the library is used, it needs to be expanded. This is nothing to do with should the community center be expanded or not, but the library should be part of it if it is. And I think that that's been approved, but so again, I hope you guys take the time to be all the facts and statistics are there. If you want to go back and report, talk to the library board, talk to the director. Last thing, special election for voting, heard that brought up. I hope you guys do that. Like, no matter the bad blood, they didn't accept my petition, so why should I accept yours? Wouldn't you want people to vote on somebody new? I mean, you guys are more than voice of the community. Let people vote.
I agree.
This has nothing to do with other stuff. Thanks.
I just wanted to touch on a couple things for the community center that was brought up last meeting. One of the things was that, you guys were presented, or I guess you were on the board, presented with, two options and you chose the one that wasn't popular. Well, the board that was created was told Haley to come in and present the two different options. So they were good with both of those options. It wasn't, oh, only present this one. Haley was told to present both of those options. Also, when it comes to the stopping of the construction, if you go talk to the contractors, they've already said it's gonna cost millions. If you go talk to Abby, she'd talk to them. It's gonna cost millions to stop it. So if you guys are fine with, wasting millions of dollars on stopping this, that's fine, but you guys are all about the money and worried about, the money. If you were worried about the kids, this is, once again, a huge place for the kids to go. Modernizing Main Street is gonna do nothing for our children. It's not gonna give them a place to stay out of trouble. I just wanna reiterate, like, you guys are voted in by the community to make decisions for us, right? Like, we vote you in to make these decisions of spending the money and doing these things. And why not, they're not holding elections every time or votes for building things. We, as the people, vote you guys in because we trust you guys to make these decisions for our community and to grow our community. So that's what I have to say about that.
I got one question. I keep hearing millions.
Mhm.
But nobody's identified which portion of what adds up to that millions. The millions can be anything. A million,
Right.
1 million, 16. So is it like 3% of the CNM portion of the contract? Is it work that they've completed thus far? Is
No,
it
it'd be-
paying for the subcontractors that they've already hired? Like,
It's all of it.
if
Yeah,
we're throwing, if
yeah, it's all
we're
of it.
throwing numbers out, we can be very definitive on what those numbers are.
Well, have you sat down with Abby about them? I don't. You have? Okay, and what'd she say?
You said it would cost millions.
Right, it will cost millions, right? Have you guys spoke to the contractors?
Not talk to the contractors.
Okay,
I just want to know, because.
yeah, it's all of it, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I just want to know why you're so confident in that figure when it actually isn't a figure at all.
What do you mean it's not a figure?
Millions.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a definite, right? Right, it's not a definite.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you knew.
If I knew the definite answer, I'm not the contractor, no.
No, if you knew where those millions were, what they were allocated.
It's all of
Was
it.
the
All of it together.
construction management fee, subcontractors, current contractors.
It's all of
I'm
it,
just
yeah.
curious.
Yep, it's all of it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
First of all, I feel sorry for you guys having to deal with something that should have been dealt 2.5 years ago. You guys got a tough decision. Last meeting, I thought we were under the impression that you guys were gonna be able to get a hold of the construction people, the bond aid, everybody to meet. It sounds like that didn't happen.
I know I have not talked to the contractor yet, like I said earlier. I've heard some things with contractors and terminations. and
People are
you know,
feeling numbers out.
I know, we've got to bend all that, we gotta weigh risk, we gotta weigh opportunity. I will not.
They're
With this
trying to
town-
scare, they're scaring people, and it shouldn't happen. And you guys were elected for basically against the other board. Because nobody listened, and I'm glad to see that you're willing to have a vote now, finally. We've been asking for a vote for 2.5 years, bro. And I'm glad that there's a vote. That's the way it should be.
Because I submitted the paperwork correctly. That's
But
the only reason.
We're not gonna do this personal banter.
I'm
We
just,
got into
I'm
this,
not,
guys.
I'm not trying to be personal, but what I'm just saying is, I'm glad that we're sitting here, that we want to have people vote, because that's the way it should be. But you guys shouldn't be scared about
trying to, I think that.
This is an embarrassment
Guys,
to the city of Tioga right here. This is an embarrassment.
you should.
That is
let me-
seriously
let me ask-
embarrassing.
Let me ask you something. Are you the same person that said the American Legion?
Okay, you know what, if this is, let's just, you know,
There is him. I know.
I'm not on anybody's side. I'm saying this is embarrassing to Tioga. Guys, order. Mr. President,
I'm trying to be nice. They're-
stop talking. The president is talking. Brett, go ahead, please.
We tried our darndest to let this happen in a very productive way. Like I said, this is not the spirit of Tioga, it's not the spirit of Tioga,
Right.
so. Our agenda is complete. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Thanks, guys.
second.
Okay, motion and a second to adjourn. Go to a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned at 8:36 p.m.
You're not gonna have this in here, you understand?
We're supposed to have this here about the fire. They're not so much, yes. Somebody must have come